Today on Ask the Expert, we're talking about arthritis. Some people used to think there was nothing you could do to prevent arthritis as you age, but that's not the case.
And that's something, if you have to live with the pain, it can be excruciating at times. Well, there are two important steps you can take to prevent or minimize that joint pain. Mary is in St. George today talking to an expert from Intermountain Rim Rock Orthopaedics about what you can do.
Intermountain Healthcare is focusing on senior health today, and we have Dr. Millward here with Rim Rock Sports Medicine and Orthopedics down here in St. George. Thank you so much for being here. You want to talk a little bit about arthritis because it affects a lot of senior citizens.
Yes, it does. And I think the biggest part is there's multiple causes of arthritis, but by far the most common is what we call osteoarthritis, or kind of the old age arthritis, that is. I mean, it's going to affect almost everybody. There was one study that said by age 85, 50% of people will have some form of arthritis. And
some of it's painful, but some of it can be treated.
Yes, I mean, the majority of it that's treated is the painful variety, and because it starts to limit their day-to-day activities. You know, going to the grocery store or just going out and hanging out with their friends, they'll start to notice that it's sore in their hip or their knees, which are the more common joints that they'll get it in.
Well, and unfortunately, that might make them not want to exercise when exercise is really what's good for it.
So that's that catch-22, and if you really look at it, prevention's probably better. In that if we can treat it earlier in their 20s and 30s and 40s, and some of the causes that you can treat and help us so when they get to that age, that cartilage isn't worn out and they're able to do those activities better than they could have if they didn't have the arthritis and the pain.
And there are a lot of exercises people can do that takes the weight off of that arthritis, aquatics, that kind of thing.
Yes, once you've gotten the arthritis and you say the elderly population, that's the biggest thing, is most of the time it's through that impact on the joints, be it the hip or the knee, that is giving them that pain as the cartilage is worn off in the joint. And so you talk about aquatics, that's a non-weight bearing, so it takes the weight off but still allowing them to strengthen the muscles. And then as the muscles get strengthened, less impact on the joint, and then they can do more of their function that they would normally.
And that normal function is important to prevent falls and injuries and things like that as well for senior citizens.
Oh yes, because that's the biggest risk. I mean, you start talking about risk there, and then you have falls, you talk about hip fractures, and the injuries and death rates that occur with that go up even more.
Okay, Dr. Millward, thanks so much. If you have questions about arthritis, about exercise, what's right for you, experts are answering your questions today. So give us a call. They're here till 6 this evening. The number 435-251-3123. And doctors, like Dr. Millward here, will answer your questions. Free advice. Give them a call.